Hey guys, Karan from Mobi Scrub here, and it seems like Samsung finally has an answer to Vivo, Oppo and Huawei. The Galaxy A7 packs some really decent specifications and it can give phones like the V11 Pro, the Honor Play, Oppo F9 Pro and the F7 some stiff competition. It's also the first Samsung phone ever to feature a triple lens camera system. And with all the features that are packed in this phone, Samsung's played really smart. It has launched this phone in two variants. One that is for 23,990 rupees and that captures the 20 to 25k segment, and the other which is for 28,990 which captures the 25 to 30k segment, and the difference just being in the power and the space that the second one offers. So guys, that's the Galaxy A7, pretty thin, feels lightweight, and we'll talk more about it obviously, but let's just dig into the box and see what all we have. So that's the quick start guide, standard documentation, let's keep that aside. Unfortunately, no soft case or plastic case for the glass pack. Anyway, moving on, you get the standard micro USB cable. It's not Type-C. Regular, ordinary earphones that you get with any Galaxy J or On series. And a standard charger that's not fast charging. That's also a letdown. And then you've got the ejection pin as well. So that's all in the box. Let's go ahead and review the phone now. So here we have the first triple camera lens by Samsung. Just wanted to show you real quick, but let's move into the specifications. So the A7 comes with Android 8 Oreo powered by a 2.2 GHz octa-core processor. You get two variants, one with 4 GB of RAM and the other with 6 GB of RAM. A 6-inch FHD Plus Super AMOLED display with always-on display, a dual SIM with expandable storage, and you get Gorilla Glass 3 protection on the front and a 2.5D glass at the back. And talking about the back, which is probably the most interesting part, is the triple camera where you do get a 24 megapixel lens, an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. And they did put in a pretty decent camera in the front as well. It's a 24 megapixel sensor with LED flash in the front, so that's pretty cool. And guys, before we move on with the full review, it'll be great if you could hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you always know when I put up a new video. And now let's focus on the design, and starting with the back of the device, which is extremely good looking. The glass back, the color tone and the overall touch and feel of the A7, not kidding, is comparable to the flagship experience that you get with the S8, the S9 and even the Note 9. And I can't stress upon this enough, it beats any other phone in this segment if you compare the back of the device. Most of them either have plastic or just really bad glass. Now this is not Gorilla Glass though, it's just 2.5D glass, but it looks really good and there are some really good colors that I would urge you to check out. And at the back, the triple lens camera system is the most eye-catching element of the entire phone, but we'll talk more about it when we reach the camera. Coming to the design in the front, you have a typical Samsung looking phone, no notch as always. The bezels are thicker than the competitors, especially if you compare it to the V11 Pro here, which offers nearly 92% screen to body ratio. So definitely the viewing experience will not be as immersive as you do get with the V11 Pro or the Oppo F9 Pro or the Poco phone. Now a big change and innovation that they've brought to the Galaxy A7 is that they've doubled the power or lock key as the fingerprint sensor, making it super convenient to unlock. It is also the most natural way to hold the phone in your hand as soon as you pick it up. And the way they've positioned it, it's quite perfect, so hats off to Samsung for this. At the bottom there's a micro USB port and the headphone jack, but you do not get fast charging, and that would have been really cool because some competitors in this segment do offer that. And the last thing from a design point of view is the SIM card tray. So you have two slots for two SIM cards and you have a micro SD card slot that can take up a micro SD card with up to 512 gigs of storage. And the Galaxy A7 allows you to install your apps directly onto the microSD card, which I think is a brilliant move. And a couple of pitfalls is that the glass back of the Galaxy A7 is highly prone to fingerprint smudging. You can see that even if your hand's a little oily or, dirty, it will come on the Galaxy A7 and you'd probably be cleaning it off using a cloth or your shirt or your jeans to make it look nice. Moving on to the software, first thing to notice is that you get always-on display, which is great because Samsung has been keeping that only for its flagship devices, but now it has finally given in and brings it to its mid-range phones. Always on displays are extremely efficient and very useful. You can access your notifications by just double tapping them, and you always know which apps have notifications. Always on displays can also be customized with your preferred preset that you can configure through always on display clock settings under lock screen settings. So there are a couple of clock styles that you can choose from. A couple of them, and you can obviously go all the way to the Galaxy theme store and you can download more from there, and there are a bunch of colors as well. Anyway, moving on, you get Android 8.0.0 Oreo with Samsung Experience version 9. Nothing new to really talk about here. You get standard pre-installed apps such as Facebook and Prime Video, Amazon Shopping, some Samsung specific apps like Samsung Max, Samsung Pay Mini, the Samsung Mall. And then you have your Google suite of apps, the Microsoft suite of apps, and some more Samsung goodies like MyFile, Samsung Health, and so on. The interface is smooth and transitions are flawless too. However, I really feel that Samsung should increase the screen animation in general. And I think even the apps open and close in a fairly decent speed, so that's good. There are also a few built-in features like the bike and the walk mode, a secure mode where you can hide your important private files, there's a data saving mode, and there is a power saving mode as well. So use them as and when you feel appropriate. And there are some new features like the ultra wide mode and social sharing or instant sharing on the camera. You've got the scene optimizer mode, but we'll talk more about it when we talk about the camera. And one complaint I still have is that there is no notification LED on the Galaxy A7. Let's talk about the display. It's a 6-inch FHD Plus Super AMOLED display, and this is pretty much at par with any other smartphone in this price range that also offers similar screen resolution. However, Super AMOLED is the key differentiator here. These displays are the best in the market, the most colorful, deep blacks, high contrast, extremely bright, and very power efficient. Colors look so rich and eye-popping. I mean, even the pictures that you take from your camera would appear much better on the display itself rather than on any other phone or computer that is not OLED. And I'm sure some of you want to know whether the phone does have auto brightness or not. Well, good news, it does. So that's a relief. You just have to enable it if it's disabled or from over here. The speaker volume and the quality is very average, nothing great or out of the box, but it does have Dolby Atmos, which I think is very cool. So with that turned on, of course you need to have your earphones or wireless headphones plugged in. So the sound experience really goes up a notch. Whether you're watching Netflix or YouTube or any movie on the built-in player, the Dolby Atmos feature really enhances the experience to a cinematic one. So I really suggest you try it out yourself. And now let's move into the performance of the phone. The variant that I have is a 2.2 GHz Octa-core processor with 4 GB of RAM. There is a 6 GB version as well. The real question is, how does it fare among other phones in this segment? I did run a performance benchmark test. They're not the best way to judge the performance of a phone, but they are a fair indication. Now, Honor Play and Pocophone both have extremely high scores compared to the V11 Pro and the Galaxy A7. The Pocophone has a Snapdragon 845 and Honor Play has something called the AI Boost, which does a performance boost in its own way. But that does not mean that the Galaxy A7 would not have a decent performance. I mean, the Galaxy A7 can easily launch all your apps fairly quickly, and it can even run the most intensive app that you throw at it. But yeah, it won't be as fast and snappy in launching and closing of apps as would be similarly priced phones with better performance benchmarks or better processors. Even in terms of gaming, I'm playing the Asphalt 9 Legends over here. The game looks really good, graphics stunning, it's a large screen, I'm really enjoying it, and even in terms of performance, absolutely no hiccups, no issue. I don't see any kind of lag or issues with the frames that are rendering on the display. It's really smooth, just no issues at all. So yeah, and the phone is not even heating up. I've been playing it for a while actually. I was also trying another game, Modern Combat, and I did try an online game also, and again, everything works fairly well. And coming to the final big reveal, the camera, the real big upgrade. First ever Samsung phone to feature a triple lens system. So let me talk about what it really is. The first lens is the most important one and the one that will get you 90% of the shots that you take. It's a 24 megapixel lens with an aperture of f1.7, which is pretty good. The large aperture allows for a lot of light to enter and you get nice photos even in low light. So I took some samples inside a bar that I had gone to yesterday, which was significantly dim, and I thought it's a great opportunity for me to take some pictures. I think it was just about okay, nothing too good. Samsung talks about its super pixel technology combining 4 into 1, but it didn't do a very good job. Indoors, when the lighting is great, I think the pictures came out really well. All of these pictures, by the way, are available for you to download. The link is in the description below, so go ahead and download these pictures and look at them for yourself and decide. Even in the evening, when the sun was setting, I took a couple of backlit pictures as well. Surprisingly, it came out quite well. I wasn't expecting Galaxy A7 to perform so well with backlit photos, but it did a pretty good job as well. So yeah, whether it's indoors, whether it's outdoors, as long as there's daylight, even in the evening, I think the primary lens does a very good job. The second lens here is an ultra-wide 8 megapixel lens. You see regular shots that you take are about 80 degrees wide, but with this lens you get a 120 degree field of view. To give you a sense, here are a couple of examples to show what that really means. Essentially, you can capture more of the background and hence more context in your picture. But you do lose the subject, the focus on the subject is lost. So the ultra-wide mode is great for capturing landscapes and scenarios, but not so much when you're capturing objects or human beings. The third lens here is the 5 megapixel depth sensor, the lens that gets you those really nice live shots with blurred bokeh backgrounds. Cameras like Google Pixel 2 achieve all of this with their software and image processing, but most smartphones today have this secondary lens, and in case of Samsung Galaxy A7, the tertiary lens that will help you achieve that. So this is the lens to use when you want to capture objects or human beings from very up close and not for landscapes or beautiful scenarios. And let me also talk about the camera interface real quick. So you've got all your modes up on the top that you can easily switch between, right? So you could just scroll and leave at the mode that you want to use. There's a scene optimizer that detects and enhances your pictures to make them look better. There's an ultra wide mode, so to switch to that you just tap on that icon over there and it switches to a broader field of view and you can take your picture and you can go back to normal view as well. Live focus is what uses the 5 megapixel depth sensor to give you really nice blurred background shots with your subject in the front. Now if you go into settings, you can obviously change your preferences there, but go into video size and you see that the maximum you get is Full HD. You do not get 4K that other phones offer, but guys, very honestly, I think Full HD is good enough. You don't need 4K video recording. Where are you going to play it back anyway? Moving on, if you go into video stabilization, I think it's turned off by default and you can turn it on, but it does not give you any EIS or OIS, so it's just some software stabilization. Now if you go into camera modes, you could actually go in and see all the modes that are available for the rear camera and the front camera as well. You can reorder them based on priority, and you can even disable the ones that you just don't need to appear when you open your camera. So AR emoji, slow motion, I don't need those, so I have disabled them, but you can choose to turn them on or off yourself. And quickly touching upon the front camera and the modes available, so you get wide selfie, you get AR emoji stickers that you can also use in Instagram or Snapchat, and you get selfie focus, which is getting those really nice front-facing shots with a blurred background. And there are some beauty effects that you can apply, but that's completely up to you. And here's a quick Full HD video sample shot at 30 FPS, which is, by the way, the max capability that the Galaxy A7 has. I think it's just about okay. It's not extraordinary as you would expect from a mid-range smartphone, so I think it's decent. It's nothing great. And lastly, the battery. So it has a 3300 mAh battery, which at best would last you the entire day with moderate use. However, if you are on your phone all day long watching videos and using the camera, the phone is going to give up sometime in the evening. Also, no fast charging. So guys, that's it about the Galaxy A7. I will be uploading a camera review, so watch out for that. Overall, I think the Galaxy A7 is a pretty good value for money phone. It does have a lot of things that it packs now within itself, and it's going to seriously give some competition to other phones in this segment.